This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is from NEMSCA. I have Rick Houchin. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. And I'm sure you're a volunteer somewhere, and I know that April is Volunteer Awareness and Appreciation Month. So happy Volunteer Appreciation Month to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I know that I am too, so happy to me.
Yeah, same to you.
And I know that at NEMSCA you're the coordinator of one of the coordinators of the RSVP program, which is Retired Seniors Volunteer Program.
That's a mouthful, but you got it right.
That's right. And it's a wonderful program. So first of all, tell me what you did to honor your volunteers.
Well, on April 2nd, we held a Get to Know Your Volunteers event. April 2nd was National Volunteer Appreciation Day. So what we did is we invited all of our volunteers and we invited the community out to meet us at our food distribution warehouse in Ossining. And we made them be an RSVP volunteer for a day. So,
ooh,
yeah, I know, it's exciting. About 25 volunteers and AmeriCorps members and Senior Corps members and community members showed up. And for 2 hours, they packed boxes of food. About 1,300 boxes.
Amazing.
And yeah, when they were done, we let them know that, you know, all of their hard work, in the coming weeks, those boxes of food are going to be distributed over 11 or 12 Northeast Michigan counties, reaching about 4,000 families.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a great event, and they were all super excited to be there. And so it was nice to, one, have them do a community service project which impacts us locally, but to highlight the work that they do for their community.
And you, like you said, it's tangible. When you see those 1,300 boxes all packed, it's like, wow, we did that.
And the warehouse was stacked so high, and it was a great, heartwarming event, because when they walked out, they literally could see all of their hard work, and they knew where that was going to go, and they knew it was staying and local to all of our local counties.
So I'm thinking of people who are retired that, think, gosh, I'm lonely, there's nothing to do, I'm sitting around my house all day. They need to call you. Yes,
exactly. That's the point of the program. It was started 46 years ago to engage members of our community, 55 and better, and to help place them in meaningful and engaging volunteer opportunities right in their own counties, so that they are giving back to their own community. And some of the benefits, one of the reasons the program was started was for health reasons for our seniors. We know that volunteer work and staying active and moving in your communities helps fight back against depression and some sorts of mental health illnesses, and even physical health. It improves their physical health as well.
Yes. So give me an idea of what a typical day might look like, or some of the different volunteer experiences they may be able to have.
So we cover, in 11 counties, but here in Alpena County, some of our greatest needs are what we call non-emergency medical transportation, helping patients who don't have transportation or can't get around on their own make it to their doctor's appointments, helping local veterans who can't make their doctor's appointments in Saginaw or Ann Arbor, helping them get there as well. We do have lots of food distribution needs with our NEMSCA office, and even at the soup kitchen at St. Bernard's, St. Vincent. We work with the Humane Society. I just spoke with the volunteer coordinator at Hope Shores Alliance, which is another amazing organization. They cover a few different counties in our area, and we like placing volunteers there. And even some other great organizations, like we just partnered with Art in the Loft, and so if people would like to come and help them with teaching some of their programs, or just come and help coordinate some of their massive groups of kids that they have up there. Classroom aids, Head Start for the little kids. We have lots of different opportunities in our area.
So how does someone get started?
Well, the only thing, you have to be 55,
okay,
and you have to pass a background check.
Okay.
But if you are 55, all you have to do is give me a call at NEMSCA and say, hey, I want to volunteer my time, and we'll go from there.
And you, sounds like you kind of try to place them somewhere where they would like to be and experiences that they would enjoy.
Yes, and so one of the best parts of the job is the first thing I always do is I get to sit and talk to new people every day. And you know, at first I was a little nervous, I was being too nosy, but I love getting to know people. And I ask them about their background and where they're from and what they did before they retired, or if they're still working, and what they enjoy doing for fun, so that we can place them somewhere that is meaningful and somewhere where they feel engaged and somewhere that they feel like they are positively giving back to their community. So we sit and chat for a little bit, and we will place them where they want to work. And if they give it a shot and they're like, you know what, I'd like to try somewhere else, that's fine. We're flexible. We'll put you wherever you want to go.
And when I think of the transportation for medical appointments, I mean, there's such a need for that everywhere.
You're exactly right. So when I travel through our counties and we talk to the different organizations and agencies that we partner with, that is always at the top of the list.
All right, we're just about out of time, unbelievably, but how do we reach you? What's the easiest and best way?
So my direct number
Okay.
is 989-358-4637.
Okay.
If you don't have a pen handy, you can just call any of our NEMSCA offices and just say, hey, I'm looking for the senior volunteer programs, I'm looking for RSVP. They will get you to me. We have an email address. I'm going to say it slow.
Okay.
It's rsvp@nemsca.org.
Okay, well, thank you so very much for being here, and hope you get lots more volunteers, and I'm so glad that you appreciate your volunteers so much
Oh,
by
man.
letting them volunteer.
We're so lucky to have them. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate it.
I'll be right back with Katie Wolf from Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary following these messages. Hi, welcome back. As promised, I'm with Katie Wolf from Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning.
And I know spring is in the air and summer's coming because you're putting the buoys out.
Yes, it's so exciting. You know, this time of year we change from, you know, writing grants and things like that to get ready for the season to really getting things ramped up. And so hopefully next week they'll be out in the water getting the buoys, you know, stationed on all the shipwrecks.
Yay, that's
We have 42 now, so that's a big
Wow.
operation to get 42 of those placed out in the water.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you're having something else coming up.
We do on May 9th. It'll be a
Yes.
really, you know, our cinema and lecture series has just really taken off, and we, you know, you want to get there early to get a seat. But we have one coming up on May 9th that really was kind of by popular demand. People are very interested in the sinkholes
Yes.
that are in the bottom of Lake Huron, and so we're having one on. It's going to focus on beneath the surface. And Steve Ruberg from the Great Lakes Environmental Research Lab in Ann Arbor is going to come up, and he's going to talk about some of the new technology they use to be able to explore the sinkholes, as well as the geology and unique ecosystems that live, you know, at the bottom of the lakes.
I wouldn't want anything to do with those black holes.
Well, it's very interesting, and you know, there's some people doing research on the sinkholes because there's certain microorganisms that, you know,
Aren't
you
found
never
anywhere
know.
else.
They could be the cure for cancer. So
And
there's
I've
some fascinating research.
Been reading some things on it and said they find microorganisms and things that don't exist anywhere else in the
Right,
world, and it's
right.
like, why? Isn't that funny?
It's so, well, and that's just, you know, there's so much more to know about the Great Lakes.
Yes.
It's just, you know, it's fascinating. So we have another project that we're really excited about being a part of. And I don't know if you recall when Bob Ballard came here and, you know, he helped find the Titanic.
Yes.
We've got a new research project, so we have a team of researchers coming in early May, and they're going to be doing some work closer to the Hammond Bay area.
Okay.
So we're excited about that. They'll be here at the same time as our MAID ROV competition on May
Wow.
10th or May 11th. It's on Saturday, May 11th. And so that's the underwater robotic competition. It's regional for the Great Lakes area, so we'll have lots of students and families and teachers at the sanctuary on Saturday, May 11th. And then they'll also get to interact with these, you know, international
Yes.
scientists. So it'll be a really special year. And their theme, you know, the students build their own robots,
Okay.
and then they have to learn how to navigate them underwater. But they also have to take on a mission. And this year, the mission is focused on how you use underwater robotics in lakes and rivers and streams. So it's a little bit different than being out in the ocean.
Yes.
But with having the Thunder Bay River right there, you know, it's a great opportunity for them.
Oh, that would be exciting.
Yes.
Okay, and I know you have more on your list.
Well, we do. We have the big, you know, we're getting ready right now. We got 2 grants that are going to allow us to give 17 different free community and student cruises this year. And so those kick off on May 18th and 19th. That's our big launch for the Lady Michigan Glass Bottom Boat.
Okay.
And so the Youth and Rec program for Alpena, we were able, with a grant that we received for over $14,000, we're going to provide 14 free community cruises, really targeting youth and families, as well as first responders and our CRTC, veterans, you know, different groups that may not otherwise have an opportunity to go out on a
Perfect.
cruise. So we're really excited about that, and so there'll be a lot of information in the media coming up on that. And then we also we got a grant from the Community Foundation for Northeast Michigan, and we're targeting school districts that are outside of the Alpena area, because the Youth and Rec grant is just for Alpena.
Right.
So we have Rogers City, Alcona, and Onaway schools that will be able to bring students in and have a free cruise and, you know, explore the Great Lakes.
Because if you've never done it, it's so phenomenal. I think everybody needs to see it. It's just so wonderful to think all this beautiful history is right in our backyard.
Well, and one of the things we love about being able for the Friends of Thunder Bay to help manage the Lady Michigan is that we are able to get grants, and instead of it just being about tourism, it really has become a huge part of our education programs. So when the students are on board, they're learning about the Great Lakes ecosystem, water quality, sinkholes, you know, so they learn about all kinds of things that they wouldn't necessarily be able to experience in the classroom.
And you know, there's a cost to run the Lady Michigan, so you have to charge a fee. So it's wonderful that families and people will get that opportunity without having to pay a fee. That's just so phenomenal.
Yes. Yeah, we're pretty excited about that.
Should be.
And then we have some additional, our cinema and lecture series, which, you know, I mentioned has been so successful. That typically happens on Thursdays, but sometimes not. So you always want to go to our website, because we have an updated list of all the different events. But we have another cinema program coming up on May 22nd. That's called Unsalted, a Great Lakes Experience. And I've had the opportunity to see it. It is absolutely fabulous. We did have it at one of the film festivals, and it was really popular, so we're bringing that back.
Perfect.
And then following that, literally the next day, we have Dean Anderson coming, who is the state archaeologist, and he's going to be talking about the search of the lost griffin. It is a boat that was full of furs. It goes back to the 1600s, and it is really one of the most sought after shipwrecks in Lake Michigan. And so there's some people think they've found it, some people haven't. So he's going to go into what's true, what's not, you know, what's the real story
that'll be
behind the griffin. So that should be fascinating too.
Okay, anything else on your list?
Well, that covers most of May.
Okay.
But the other thing is that I am always looking, we were talking about volunteers earlier.
Yes.
And the sanctuary is always looking for volunteers. With the robotics competition coming up, if people are interested in volunteering, we'd love to hear from them. But then I have a lot of events that I cover over the summer, and so I can always, you know, use help with covering those events and, you know, sharing with people what we do at the sanctuary when we have festivals and things like that.
And your biggest festival will be coming up on 4th of July, so that takes a lot of volunteers to pull that off.
In fact, our big direct mail to get sponsors for that is coming up. I mean, that's going to be going out this week and next week.
Perfect.
And it's such an important event, but it's a great way for people who are really supportive of community events. I mean, we have over 10,000 people come to that event. It is huge.
Yes.
And it's so much fun. And I love how people get, you know, dressed up in their red, white, and blue. They kind of leave all their political differences aside and just come out and have a great time.
Okay, what's the best way for someone to reach you, Katie?
If they go to thunderbayfriends.org, they can check our website, or they could email me at kwolf@thunderbayfriends.org.
Okay, or they can look up the phone number in the phone book. Everyone knows you and knows how to reach you. Thank you so much, Katie, and thanks so much for writing those grants and doing all that wonderful stuff to bring that money into our community. It'll stay here, and like you said, local children and families and people will be able to participate and get out on the Lady Michigan and enjoy some of the wonderful natural history that we have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Please stay tuned for Dr. Don McMaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College, and I'm pleased to have as our guest this morning Larry Thompson, director of criminal justice at ACC.
Good morning.
And Jonathan Woods, a student in the criminal justice program at ACC. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
So, Larry, you run a really vibrant program, and we appreciate it very much. Saw a real neat piece of news this week about some crime scene investigation work you were doing. Why don't you explain that a little bit for the viewers?
Well, I have a class in the program that's called Criminal Investigation, and all semester long we work in the textbook. We do some hands-on, we do some fingerprinting, etc. But kind of my capstone class project at the end of the semester is what I call the mock crime scene. And basically I set up a crime scene in the Grantham Theater at the college, and students don't see it until they walk in, much as they would in real life. They walk in as a team, encourages teamwork, and they walk into that crime scene with their eyes wide open, and I say, okay, investigate it, much as it would be in the real world. So this allows them to basically put into practice what they've learned. And what I found from my experience in teaching is that students learn so much more by the hands-on than they do. I mean, you can read a book, but until you actually put your hands on it, find out for yourself what works, what doesn't work, that's where really you learn, and you can take those techniques then out into the field.
I agree with that, and that's such an important point. I think it's part of the DNA of the college to kind of emphasize hands-on learning in all of the occupational programs, and even in the transfer programs as well.
Definitely.
So, Jonathan, were you part of this?
Yes, I was.
And what was, when you walked in with your eyes wide open, what was your first impression? How'd you deal with it?
Well, it's a lot to gather. You got to make sure you look around at all the details. I really liked the crime scene. I looked forward to it as soon as Mr. Thompson mentioned it at the beginning of the semester. But there's a lot of stuff to process when you walked in. You got to put all the stuff you learned in the class into play. So it was a lot, but we got it done as a team. We had a team of 4 that did our crime scene. So,
did you solve the crime?
We still have a lot of work to do. We have an after crime scene meeting, and then we have to put everything together and present it to Mr. Thompson. So
much as you would in the field, I suppose. Hey.
Exactly. Yes. We'll start today. So the crime scene, we actually conducted that on Tuesday. So today in the classroom, the students will again get together in their groups, and they will actually start putting together, they'll produce an actual police report with all of their findings. I actually have the 911 caller that they have to interview. I play the part of the first officer on scene, so they have to interview me about what my findings were. That all goes into a report, as well as they have to collect evidence, they have to take photographs, they have to measure the entire crime scene, basically placing the objects exactly where they were so they could reenact it at a later time. And then they have to draw a sketch, and then they have to do a final drawing. And that all becomes part of that package, much as a police officer would develop and present to the prosecutor. So that process will just start today.
That is very comprehensive. And maybe I'm going astray here, but if that's not done properly, if a case goes to trial, it could be compromised if that part of the work isn't done accurately. Is that right?
Exactly. And with a crime scene, what I stress to students is you have one opportunity. That's why at the end of their investigation, I always ask them, step back as a team, overview the scene again, and make sure you didn't miss anything. Because with a crime scene, once you walk away from it, you can't go back and say, oh, I forgot to grab this, or I forgot to photograph this, because it's now too late. And again, like you were saying, if you go into court and you have evidence that's flawed, or you don't have a chain of custody for your evidence, or you've taken the wrong measurement, you can't go back and reenact that, because you get one chance at it.
That is a really important point. Jonathan, you must want to become a police officer.
yes, I'm hoping to become a state trooper.
And how have you enjoyed Mr. Thompson's program? What have you learned from it, and how does it tie to your future aspirations?
Well, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of work, but it's worth it. We learned Michigan laws in Mr. Bayot's class. That's part of the program. And then we also have police administration, multicultural law enforcement. There's a wide variety of classes that are offered, so I think I'll use a lot of it in my future. So
Wonderful. And you're hoping to become a state policeman?
yes.
Wonderful. And hopefully be stationed in Alpena?
Yes, I hope so.
Great, great. And last week you had, I understand, some drone training.
Yes. Dave Cummins from Alpena Community College runs the drone program, and I met with him early in the semester, and I said, hey, it would be really interesting if you could do a drone demonstration for my students, realizing the importance of the drone, and he also does underwater robotics. So he actually introduced both of those in one of my classes, and he actually took the class outside, and he launched a drone and explained what they're capable of doing to assist law enforcement. Again, drones have become such a crucial part for search and rescue, mapping accident scenes, mapping crime scenes, because again, I call it eyes in the sky.
Right.
A perspective that law enforcement for years did not really have unless they had access to a helicopter or something else, which is very expensive. Drones are inexpensive. Alpena Community College actually offers a certification program, and I think for law enforcement officers that's a great tool to put on the resume if they're going out looking for a job. Hey, I'm certified to fly a drone. A lot of sheriffs or police chiefs are going to look at that and say, wow, that's a real asset to our department. So
Yeah.
I wanted to introduce the students and certainly encourage them to take advantage of that program while they are at ACC.
Wonderful. And we have about 30 seconds left. I wanted to just remind the viewers we have a corrections academy that runs in the summertime.
We do, yes. It'll be starting shortly after the spring semester ends. From my understanding, Amanda Dort and Dawn Stone will be facilitating that again this year. From what I understand, we've got good numbers right now. I expect those numbers to increase. We're again offering an academy that will draw in corrections officers at the local level from all over northern and southern Michigan. So we're very excited about offering that again this year.
Well, Larry, thank you so much for what you do for the college. Criminal justice is one of our most vibrant programs for sure. And Jonathan, good luck to you, and thanks for appearing. And folks, thank you for watching Talk of the Town. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host, Nancy Smitham and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.